Thank you very much. My name is Kennedy Muriithi from NTV. One of the things that I would like a clarification from you, Bwana CS, is the question of those in quarantine and the extension of days. One of the things that you have alluded to is that there is a probability that they brought this on themselves by the spree of partying. But then there's the other question that is coming from those who are in quarantine, where they're even saying that there is no social distancing in the way that they are put in this in these rooms. Then there's the question of calling on the youth to take the steps of making sure that we fight this. I am a youth and I'm going to heed to this call. But then again, there is the cases that we've even seen in Kisumu, where these youth, some of them are even beating up the boda people. Some of them might even take your call in the form of forming vigilantes. How are we going to make sure that we arrest this? There's the question of those in the medical...
Thank you. Hey, Muriithi, you are giving a speech now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friend. Let me just say this. First and foremost, our appeal to the youth is not one that calls for vigilante groups. It is one that calls for cooperating and working through our security agencies, working with and through the security agencies to ensure that they themselves are on the front line of good behavior. That is the first one. So it is no call, and even Kisumu indeed, there are some people who are misbehaving. That has nothing to do with our call. And that has nothing to do with anything else. That is basically lawlessness. And that is not what we are calling for. As for the quarantining situation, you know, we started off by saying that it's a personal responsibility. There is a personal responsibility to each and every person to ensure, you know, we cannot police distancing. It is very difficult for a person to be followed, each person to be followed all the time, to see what distance that they are keeping from the other one. It's a personal responsibility. And therefore, you can only take responsibility for yourself. And I would like to appeal here, please, don't wait until you get positive, and then you start blaming government because you have turned positive. While we have been singing, appealing, begging that people keep social distancing. Last one.
My question is, with the KU facility now being turned into a sort of isolation and treatment center for corona, what happens to the other the patients that were being held there and have pre-existing conditions? And lastly, what is the status of the distribution of the masks to border operators and even the PSV operators?
Okay, there are two questions. Thank you, Shemtai. What I said was, number one, is that we have operationalized KU. KU is a huge facility. Those who are there and those who have been hospitalized there before are not affected by this at all. So they will continue there. What we are not going to do is that we are not going to admit new cases of a regular nature in KU. And on the issue of distribution, there are many sources of the masks. What I said was the ones we have, we are going to distribute to the through the county governments, through the CECs responsible for health. Then they will pass them on to the chairman of the various organizations, the Matatus, the bodas, and so on. But we are not saying that people should be sitting around waiting, you know, for masks to come to them. Wananchis now have been given freedom, you know, to make them. And we have said these things should be made as cheaply as possible. As you have seen, people are even producing their own for a shilling, and so on and so forth, provided they are following the laid guidelines. So going forward, we'll expect, for example, that when the supermarkets are giving masks as people enter, and the experience we have seen over the last couple of days is that people are not even waiting to be given these masks. They are acquiring them for themselves because it is your own safety. It is not the government's safety. It is your own safety. So we will distribute as many as we can. We are continuing to do so. Fortunately for us, we don't have to import them anymore. We are making them locally now. You know, just as I said, just one institution in Kitui is manufacturing 25,000 of them per day. So we are not worried about getting, and also it's business for a lot of young people, a lot of young tailors who can now be able to manufacture them. You saw some very fashionable ones being made, and we are all for fashion, but I hope they also work. Thank you very much.